What's going on, guys? Got a quick little update here for you. My spring break is nearing an end. I'm headed back to school tomorrow, back up to my apartment, and I managed to score a couple of titles while I was home, most of them coming from, well, all of them except for one, coming from the buy two used, get one for $1 sale at FYE, and FYE is usually a hit or a miss with me. You go in there, same old shit, can't really find anything good, and then sometimes you go in there and there's a couple of hidden gems, which I was lucky to come across a few. And this is The Sting, of course, with Paul Newman and Robert Redford, and this is the Blu-ray DVD digibook or digipack or media book, whatever you want to call it. This is a double dip for me. I actually already own this on regular Blu-ray, but I have the digibook too, Butch and Sundance, so it felt right to pick this one up. Plus it's a really good looking edition here. There's the spine and the back, and I really like digibooks. I wish they did more of these with films, and more of the recent films that come out, because here's the DVD, or there's the DVD, there's the Blu-ray, because it comes with a bunch of fun little factoids within these pages of the digibook that I really appreciate. There's your cast and the characters that they play. There's the actors, information about the actors and the characters and how they got involved, and there's script excerpts in here from the original screenplay and script notes, and there's information about the costume designs and all the Academy Awards that it won the year that it came out. It actually won Best Picture, Best Director, Best Score, Best Screenplay, Best Costume Design, everything like that. And it's full of a lot of informative and a lot of really cool, fun stuff. And I don't know, I feel like, although I own a few really nice steelbooks, I don't think that every release deserves a steelbook. I was surprised that Room didn't get a steelbook with all the steelbooks we have coming out nowadays, but I guess they do sell. But I like digibooks better. You get more out of them. I don't know, steelbook's just metal. But next up here is Moonrise Kingdom, and this is actually the one I got for $1. And I know that there's a really beautiful Criterion edition to this out currently that just came out, and I'm not exactly clamoring to fork out the cash for that when I can get the Blu-ray DVD digital copy for $1. And I love Wes Anderson's movies. They're all so original, and he's a great writer, he's a great director, and I love his usage of music within his films. He has a very particular style, which, if you watch a movie and you don't know that it's directed by Wes Anderson, I feel like within 10 to 15 minutes you'll know that it's a Wes Anderson film. He's kind of like Quentin Tarantino in that way, is that he has his style, his way of doing things, and his group of actors that he brings into all of his films. And particularly what I like about him, and what I really enjoyed about Moonrise Kingdom, is that he's a director who can extract the best possible and most realistic performances from his child actors, which isn't always an easy feat for filmmakers. And I think that just makes him one of a kind, as well as a slew of other elements to his directing and writing and filmmaking style. But yeah, I was happy to snag this up. I really enjoyed this. Next is a movie starring the recent Best Actress winner Brie Larson and John Gallagher Jr., who's the third lead in the upcoming 10 Cloverfield Lane. Also, Rami Malek of Mr. Robot appears in this, and he has a really pretty adorable little role in here. He plays a pretty interesting character, and this is called Short Term 12, as you can see. And the Blu-ray is cool. It comes with a really nice slipcover, and that's a clear Blu-ray case right there. It's not blue, it's not red, it's not black. It's just clear, which I thought was interesting. But this won a bunch of awards. It won the Grand Jury Best Picture winner at the SXSW Film Festival. Certified fresh on Rotten Tomatoes. It was the critics' pick at the New York Times. It won the Heartland Most Moving Film Award, and it really is an extraordinary, moving piece of film. And when you see her in this movie, you just know that she has a really bright future ahead of her. Her performance in here is really restrained. She's very vulnerable, but at the same time, she's got a bit of a short fuse, and she has a really damaged past, which sort of affects her relationship with her boyfriend, played by John Gallagher. And it also, to explain the title, Short Term 12, it's a facility that fosters unprivileged, sexually abused, physically abused children, and these two both work there together, and they look after these kids. And her past, spoilers, actually, she was physically and sexually abused by her father. And so she knows what these kids are going through firsthand, and she feels that she can really help them, and she has a strong desire to help them. And certain things happen as the movie moves forward, and her passion for her job is really gonna end up affecting her life and her career in a big way, because of just certain roads she goes down. But yeah, this is just a really, dark movie, but it's fun at the same time, and it's really uplifting, and this really got snubbed at the Oscars, I think, because this was so friggin' good. If I could make a list of top underrated films of 2013, now that I've seen this, which I saw it recently, and then I ran out and bought it because I knew there was a pretty cool slipcover of my FYE, but this is definitely number one of 2013 of, most underrated, snubbed films when it comes to the Oscars, because this was just extraordinary. Something that it creates an atmosphere that you're immediately invested in, which is why I bought it, because I can see myself rewatching it over and over and over, because I love independent films, and this is the absolute essence of a great independent film. And it really wonderful to see her, in 2013 acting her ass off, and she won an Oscar. Rami Malek doing really great in this, future Golden Globe nominee, and it was cool to see them kind of before they got as big as they are now. So that's Short Term 12. Also, I was looking for, I didn't want to get Creed. As much as I loved Creed, I really didn't want to buy Creed. I wanted to buy Room, because that movie just was riveting, and it moved me in so many ways. I was just so invested in this dark story that was told through the eyes of this 6-year-old boy, or however old he is, and I really wanted to pick Room up, and I couldn't find it on Blu-ray at Target, at Walmart, at FYE. My Best Buy's gone. And as much as I love Creed, Creed, Room, they're both in my top 5 of 2015, but Creed's $24.99 at both, Target and Walmart, and it's more expensive at FYE, is all you should know, that FYE really cranks up their prices. So yeah, a little disappointing I couldn't get any of the recent releases, but I still managed to pick up a lot of good stuff, which leads me into my next one that I got here, which would be Stitches. And I love horror movies, I love killer clowns, and I love horror comedies. And this is a really great example of a great killer clown horror comedy. It's so much fun. This is an Irish film I first saw on Netflix, and it's still streaming on there. I didn't think I'd ever get this on Blu-ray, because it's such an obscure title, and I've looked for it before. Never had any luck finding it, but with my FYE, sometimes I go in there, there's some gems in there, and I saw it, and it was $16, but like I mentioned in my previous video, sometimes money's just not an issue, and you gotta buy it. But the premise to this really intrigued me, and it was, it's about this clown who gets hired for this little boy's birthday party, and all these little bastard kids. It's an Irish film, and they all have their accents and stuff, which I don't know. There's just something about comedies about guys with accents and their comedic timing and line delivery with their accents that it's just, I really love, like, with In Bruges and with this particular film, and, you know, I don't know, I don't want to go off on a tangent here, and the video ends up running too long. But anyway, Stitches, he gets hired for this little boy's birthday party, and all these bastard kids are screwing around, and while he's doing his shtick, and you know, they end up tying his feet together, and he ends up falling, and something happens to him, and he ends up dying. So cut to years later, it's their senior year in high school, and they're having a party, and he comes back from the grave to exact the revenge on all the little bastards that were responsible for his murder. And it's just so much fun. I love the gore in it. It's so over the top and kind of cartoony, but in the best way possible. And I recommend this one. It's definitely not for everybody, but this is a movie. This is one of many movies that are right up my alley. So, and then I also got this at FYE. This was $4, and I'm not a huge fan of Spike Lee movies, but this is just, I think this is his best movie. This is made in 1989. This is still a movie that's extremely relevant today, and I think it's just a timeless film in general. And it's a really smart movie, and you know, you can sit down and with a couple of buddies and have some pizza and maybe have a couple of beers or some wine, you know, but don't overindulge, because even though it starts off as sort of a light comedy, it provokes the audience members to ask themselves a lot of questions, and by the end it really gets intense, and it really gets violent and a bit out of control. And you know, when the credits roll, you can sit there and have a stimulating debate or conversation with the guys that you watched it with, because that's what it was meant to do. It's kind of a film that's meant to leave you asking questions, and it's meant to leave you talking about it. That was Spike Lee's intention. I actually heard an interview with him where he's like, you know, when the movie is over, you're supposed to be talking about it. That was what I wanted to do, and he accomplished it wonderfully. I love this movie, and I was so happy to get it for as cheap as I did. So if you guys haven't seen Do the Right Thing, and check it out. And last but certainly not least is, of course, the Blu-ray for Dr. Caligari, which I went on about in my last video, so I'm not going to talk about it right now. And if you're interested in it, go check out my last video. Anyway, guys, that's all my pickups for spring break. Thank you all for watching. Cheers.